Welcome to From the VC's Bookshelf, a podcast from TBR, the College System of Tennessee, the state's largest higher education system. In this series, we examine how we might re-envision the work we do and how we work together as we move into a post-pandemic world. Please join our host, Dr. Heidi Lemming, Vice Chancellor for Student Success, as she leads a live discussion with industry experts and leaders throughout our system.
Excited to be sitting today with our Community College of the Year president, Dr. Jeff McCord. Dr. Jeff McCord currently serves as president of Northeast State Community College, a role he was appointed into in September of 2022. Prior to his selection as president, Dr. McCord served as the commissioner for the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. And that was from January 2019 until September of 2022. And under his leadership as commissioner, Tennessee developed its first multi-agency comprehensive workforce development strategy, grew employment to the highest level in state history, and raised apprenticeships to the highest level in state history. Previously, McCord spent several years in higher education, primarily focusing on workforce development, including leading the Regional Center for Advanced Manufacturing, a nationally recognized technical training facility, leading the development of Tennessee's first registered apprenticeship program through a post-secondary institution, and serving as the lead administrator for the award-winning Kingsport Academic Village. McCord received his Bachelor of Science degree from Georgia Tech. He went on to earn a Master of Business Administration from Kennesaw State and his doctorate in Learning and Leadership from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Thank you so much for sitting with me, Dr. McCord.
Thank you for having me, Heidi.
Super excited to have this conversation. One of the things that the listeners, hopefully in this series, will learn from not only the finalists that I've interviewed, but now from the presidents from the Technical and Community College of the Year, is just a little bit more about the work that you're doing at your institutions. This is your time to kind of brag and shine. Okay. When I think about Community College of the Year, the award, the first question that people are going to have is like, well, what makes that college different than all the others that are in Tennessee? And so none of us really know, I guess, what the secret sauce is behind choosing a Community College of the Year, right? But put you on the spot.
Okay.
What do you think makes your institution special?
Well, it's always the same answer. It's the people. And I think for us, we have a solutions mindset, and it comes from Appalachia. It comes from a Scott-Irish heritage. It comes from a little bit of stubbornness that we have, that just in the community, how we are, who we are, is we figure things out. And we decide that we're going to do something, and we do it and we don't wait for it to be done for us. And I think that permeates the college. And when you combine that with the high purpose that we have and what we do, it makes for a Community College of the Year material, I think, is what I would say.
Tell me what you most enjoy about being president of your institution.
First of all, I love it. I am having so much fun. And Northeast State has this combination of high capability and true humility, which allows us to do a lot of really good things. And when we think about it, we get to walk alongside people in their lives and connect those people to prosperity in whatever form that looks like. It's an honor, and I can't wait to get to work in the morning when I drive traffic free and not in Nashville.
Rub that into our listeners.
Drive to the college. Well, there's many who are in the same situation, I'm sure. But yes, I love working with people. I love our students. Love to go and just listen in the classroom. And one of my favorite things is to go to a learning support class, and I see students there who show up and they're going to overcome whatever they need to overcome. And I'm in awe of that kind of grit and fortitude. And as we say in East Tennessee, want to make their lives better.
Yeah, that's great. So you've been there really just a couple of years, right?
18 months, actually. Not 2 years yet.
Has it felt like that long?
Well, it's a little bit of going home because I came out of the private sector and worked at Northeast for 7 years before going to the state. And so it feels like a little coming home. So there wasn't a lot of too much reconnecting or relearning, but you have to be careful with that because you go away for 4 years and things change. And so it does feel longer than that. It feels more comfortable than that.
Yeah. So in that time, 2 years, what do you feel your institution's been doing to kind of really raise the bar on how you provide higher education in your community and support students? And maybe that has led you to be College of the Year.
Could be, but it's a secret sauce, as you say. So we talk a lot about how we don't just need to educate sequentially, but also simultaneously. And so what that looks like for us is obviously dual enrollment. It looks like apprenticeships. It looks like doing things at the same time because you lose people and you lose momentum in the handoffs. And so what we try to do is not have as many handoffs. And so we look to do that. So we have initiatives. For example, one of our big goals is in our region, we have 40,000 people without a high school diploma. That's more probably than we have in high schools.
Yeah.
And so we have a class of about 500 to 600 that we serve every year. That's a big high school class. And so how do we connect with them simultaneously and not one thing after the next so we can get them going? So I think that mentality for us is important for sure. And to expand the meaning of what a student is, it's just not an enrolled student, but it's that adult ed student, it's that industry training student, it's that apprenticeship, it's the enrolled students as well, is what we're trying to do.
Right. Do you have a signature program or something that you're offering that you think is, something that also makes your institution stand out, something you want to highlight?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we'll see, so we're just going to figure this out. We have the state's first teacher apprenticeship program. And we have that in some of our harder to serve counties, Johnson and Carter. So we have 20 school employees who are becoming teachers who currently live in the community, currently work in those schools, who have a pathway to become educators, which there's a workforce shortage for educators, and it's not that easy to find educators who will go to Johnson and Carter County. And so we have 20 enrolled now in our apprenticeship program, and they will transition to the Grow Your Own program. And what that allows us to do with that apprenticeship program is to back that into dual enrollment so they can begin to fill their pipeline with teachers who live there and want to be in that wonderful, beautiful county and solve their workforce development issues. And what happens there is we've had some of those students say they would never could have become a teacher without this program. And so it provides access. They're earning, they don't have to quit their job. The employer gives them a little bit of flexibility. The school system gives them a little bit of flexibility. It's winning for everybody.
Yeah.
So we look to do that in more counties as well. And so that's a big push for us. Of course, we do have the push with dual enrollment in middle college. We'll start middle college in Sullivan County with 4 high schools, and we've figured out the funding there so they can go tuition free for those high schools. And we have that in Carter, a fairly big program in Carter County already, so that's important. But I think for us, as we look at demographics and we look at the enrollment cliff and all the stuff we talk about in higher ed, for us, we have 50,000, some college, no degree. That's really how we can serve and grow. And Slate has helped us tremendously in that connection. So we're really going all out for those reconnect students to bring them in and help them get the skills they need to find greater prosperity in their lives. So it's a multi-pronged thing.
Sure.
But one of our first conversations we'll have is those reconnect students, not necessarily dual enrollment, even though dual enrollment is very important. There's going to be a point where everybody's going to the same well, and of course that's going to run out. And so we have an advantage going to the reconnect as well, an ability to serve them as well.
Yeah, right, because you do have other folks in your region trying to go after those recent high school graduates
we
too.
do, absolutely we do. I mean, we're going to be the best at it, no matter what we do, but
right.
And serve in a way, but we just don't want to ignore these big numbers, whether it's the no high school diploma locked on the other side of prosperity, or whether it's somebody who's trying to better their lives by coming back. Those are big between those two groups is 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And so there are plenty of students for us to serve. It's just maybe not in the same way that we've been serving them.
Not to mention the fact that as things change with technology, there's going to always be an adult population needing to come back and get reskilled too.
Correct.
And you're serving that population as well.
That's correct. And so we have, to that point, we have, people who are employed already who still need that. And we have just in our apprenticeship program that we sponsor, we've just passed 100 apprentices, and which is a pretty good milestone for us, and probably makes us one of the larger apprenticeship sponsors in the state, whether private sector or public sector. So that's a big one for us. And we will both non-credit, and we're really putting an emphasis on 4-credit apprentices, like the teacher aid apprenticeship program.
Well, yeah, of course, people had to expect that you would grow that since you're known for that at the state level when you were a commissioner too, right?
Which is so funny because I am not an idea guy. I need people to bring ideas. And when I was with Northeast before, Regional Center for Advanced Manufacturing, somebody came to me and said, I think we should start an apprenticeship program. And I didn't think it was such a good idea, honestly, but they stayed with it. And so I'm better on the execution side. And so we talked about it, and it was, we do apprentices not because we love apprentices. We do apprentices because they work.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's funny that it started with somebody having to convince me, and then I was very much convinced.
You might get a call from me about this program that we're taking to Germany on apprenticeships this fall with the presidents.
Oh, very good.
You might be on my list
I'm in
to
already.
get called.
Yeah.
We're going to take some TCAP presidents because they largely, this is a little new to them to be thinking about it in terms of international opportunities for their students, right?
Right. That's
so
good. Yeah.
We're trying to figure that out.
Give me a call. I'm always ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. You're going to get it. Guaranteed. If you were asked by another president for one piece of leadership advice on how to get your institution to earn College of the Year, what would it be?
So it always makes me squeamish to give quote unquote leadership advice.
Did you have a degree in that? I thought I saw that on your resume.
I like the learning part better than the leadership part. So trust your people. I think that would be it in a nutshell. I mean, you've got to provide direction, and you've got to make cases for change, because change is hard. So we owe it to our folks to make the case if we're going to change something. But you got to trust your people. And you know some of the folks who work at Northeast State and how incredible they are. And so you got to let them do their jobs and be incredible. And so I think that would be again, we're in a lot of trouble if we're waiting for me to have all the ideas. We're just in big trouble. And so to trust them, create an environment where people feel that they can express those ideas and get engaged. And plus it just makes it funner if you get to be trusted to do the work that's so fun and high purpose to do.
Yeah, I appreciate hearing that, particularly from a student affairs background that I come from. Collaboration is key, and not necessarily the top-down mentality that a lot of leaders do have, unfortunately, right? Where you're just kind of forcing things down, but really kind of talking with your team and growing it.
It's so interesting. When I moved from the private sector to higher ed, it was so much more top-down than the private sector, because the private sector really pushes that collaboration and that non-top-down, because it works. And you want to do things that work if you're going to get a financial return. And so really that's how I was trained coming through all my private sector years. I'm still more time in the private sector than the public at this point, but that's about to change.
Yeah. Well, I've always appreciated the team that you've got there. You've got some great staff on the front lines. Always felt like kind of a hidden gem there, Well, we are in Northeast Tennessee. We're not beating our chests about anything. We don't like to talk about ourselves. That's part of the goodness and the humility that we talked about. But sometimes you need to share the good things that you're doing so that other people can learn from them or appreciate it or whatever the case may be. Yeah, right. Okay, so you won the award a couple of weeks ago. Has it already been a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Just curious, the conversation back in your community about, the fact that you're College of the Year, if that has supported this conversation around the value of post-secondary education with your stakeholders. Have you heard much?
I have. Actually, Sullivan County took out a full-page ad on our behalf.
Oh, that's nice.
People are proud of Northeast State in our region and see that as their college. Our graduates stay in the region and when they graduate, and of course the employers do. But no, they were very, very proud. We were up for a partnership award, so we had some of our really good partners there, and they were so excited to be there on our behalf. And so, yes, it's good. It's a point of pride for the region for us to get that recognition. So we really appreciate that. Our folks are excited. The trophy's down in admissions because we can't find the key to our trophy case, so we're still looking for it, and we'll find it sooner or later. But right now, down in admissions, the people are excited, so it's good, and the community's excited. I know that certainly helps the conversations, but the reputation's there already. Is doers of high quality education, we care about the community and the students who come to us. So that's there.
Yeah. So what's on the horizon for your institution? Something you maybe want to share with your listeners?
Well, we are always there. So we have what we call a 4-year plan and 2-year parts. And so we're into the second year of our 2-year parts, and we're growing. And part of that growth is if we grow enough, maybe we can possibly look at an athletics offering. So that may be there. And we were able to purchase 36 acres right next to the campus recently within the last year, just as an opportunity. So nothing's going to be there. We can dream and figure out what. So that's one possibility that we'll talk about. We'll see how this fall's enrollment goes. And so there's also programs, potentially. There's been a hospitality culinary push in our region for a long time. And so we're trying to work with one of our counties to see if we can make that happen. So there's a lot of good things on the horizon. We're really, one of our major high schools, I think Dobbins Bennett, will start middle college with them for the first time ever coming this fall. So there's all kinds of good things happening.
There's never enough time to get all the things done, I'm sure.
Well, again, there's a lot of people who are doing them and making those things happen. Oh, and also, this is the greatest thing. We may get our own license plate. It, how the logo. I think that it went through the legislature, and I think we have to sell so many of them. So that would be really cool to have our own license plate. Yeah.
Are you going to get yours personalized?
I'm not a personalized license company.
So they really recognize who you are.
No, it's okay. I'm not gonna. No, we'll just say no. That's not really what I'll do. But I will have a Northeast State license plate.
Yeah.
And so will all my children and my mom and dad in Georgia. Everybody will have a license plate. Yeah.
One nationwide.
Well, we just need to get enough of them so that we can actually have it. So.
Okay. Well, I've enjoyed sitting with you. Congratulations again for College of the Year 2024.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy it. I'm sure that trophy's going to get a little bit of mileage. We'll get it out there in the community maybe and show it off a little bit.
We may be a little less out there as my predecessor was. Yeah, probably dial that back just a little bit, but no, it will not be hard to find. We'll just say it that way.
Well, we'll look for you.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of From the VC's Bookshelf, brought to you by TBR, the College System of Tennessee, powering the state's economy and changing the lives of thousands of graduates, starting successful careers each year. To learn more about upcoming book selections or to register to attend discussions live, visit tbr.edu/bookshelf.